Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going? I just want to start off with the GoFundMe that I made. Right, I want to add some context to it so that people can perceive it for what it is. Right, I put a large amount of money on there. Right, that's my goal. I was thinking about it. I've also been reading a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And let's start off with that. Right. So some context to the book. The book was written around the 1920s during the economic recession, the depression. And what it did was, or in the context of the book, was that Napoleon Hill said that because of the recession, all men were created equal. All men were on an equal playing field, right? And I thought about that. I'm like, oh, okay. All men were on an equal playing field. Everyone was struggling at the time, right? Everyone was going through everything, and even the wealthiest were struggling with their finances. It was a bad time in our history, right, economically. And we can relate that to 2024, right? We're going through a pretty bad economic crisis, and honestly, it's hard to stay positive about it, right? And I want to relate that to what we're doing today, right? We may not be on an equal playing field, but we definitely have advantages that we didn't have in the 1920s, right? The phone that I'm recording you with, the AirPods that I'm listening to, the desktop that I have, right? All this equipment, right? We have tools to our advantage nowadays, right? And one of those things is, AI, right? AI has been fairly new, fairly recent. I think it's a great equalizer, right? It makes every man equal, right? You just got to know how to use it. It's like any tool, right? If you don't know how to use a tool, you'll never be able to use it, right? Just like you gotta learn how to use a lawnmower. You gotta learn how to use a weed whacker, right? It may seem easy, but when you actually do it, it takes a little bit of skill before you can actually learn how to use it. I definitely learned that when I was doing landscaping. I thought I didn't think it would be easy, but it's a lot more skill than you think, right? And just going off of that, right? So I put that amount and Think and Grow Rich. It says you have to have a level of faith that is going to be confusing the people around you, right? You're going to have a level of faith in yourself that it's going to be perceived as a little bit crazy, right? And that's okay, right? I understand that. It's a high amount, and I'm asking for a lot of support, and I understand that. And, that's my goal, right? Hey, this has happened. Hey, let's work. It's giving me a main goal to get, right? And just going back to the book about Think and Grow Rich is that's my goal, right? To receive that amount of money, right? Because not only will it help me, it'll help my family, it'll help those around me, and I have faith in myself that I'm going to achieve that goal, right? You just got to have faith in yourself and confidence and trust in God, right? And that's ultimately what's changed me over the years, right? I went through a lot of struggles, and I just trusted in Him. It just became a point where I just was like, man, stuff like this is going to happen all the time, right? Whether it be with my job or with everything I experience in my life, the things are always going to happen in your life, right? The difference is, are you going to have faith in God through them, right? Because that's when the real test starts. You can have good faith when things are going well and life is good and you're eating good and you're living a comfortable life. But the real test of God is when all that is taken away from you, right? Are you going to praise Him the same when you don't have you have the uncertainty of your future, right? And that's what I have. I have a strong faith in Him, and I know everything's gonna be okay. That being said, I want to start off this video as a tribute to my cousin. She's no longer here in the world, and her name is Katelyn Huchin. This video is long overdue to you. I apologize for not making this video earlier. This is my love letter to you. For some context, for those of you who don't know, my cousin passed away about to be around 2 years already. And she died of colorectal cancer, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was a hard time for my family. It was a hard time for the Huchins, right? We never had a death in the family. I don't think that was the first death in the family. And it was hard, right? Especially for my cousin's father. He went through a lot, and he's still keeping his head held high, and I have deep respect for him for that, right? But I'm making this video because, I was there when I was one of the pallbearers that took her into the grave, right? I walked her from the car what's it called? The hearse to the gravesite. And we conducted the funeral, and I remember being so numb at the time because I felt like I had to be strong for those around me, right? I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. I didn't show any emotion, right? And I thought that was because I was showing that I was strong, right? And I've had a couple years to reflect on that, and man, I wish I would have cried. I wish I would have just bawled out right there and just got on my knees and cried. I wish I did that, right? I perceived the world from others, I was scared that, that if I was about to cry and show my true emotion, that I would be considered, maybe weak, or, maybe I thought that I needed my family to see that I was strong, right? So I didn't show any emotion. But this is my love letter to you, Katelyn. Life and death is a beautiful thing, right? There's a saying from Marcus Aurelius about even the longest person that has lived in the world, right? Compared to the shortest person that has lived in the world in terms of time, right? They both go to the same place, and that's the ground, right? It doesn't matter if you live 80 years, 100 years, or literally 10 years, right? There's no difference. We're all going to be in the ground, right? But during that time, I was going through a lot, man. I was going through, we all going through a lot, right? I was going through a lot, and I was numbing myself to what was happening in front of me, and I just want to say thank you, Katelyn, because your death has given me life. I was a dead man before all that happened. I was a dead man because I wasn't living for myself, and I wasn't living for God either. And through your death, it honestly gave me life, and that's a beautiful thing, right? Just continued to work during that time, right? Once we got past that, and I just want to say I love you, Katelyn, and I know you're here with me now, and you'll forever be with me. I know that your love is inside of me, and it's teaching me to be more mindful of others, to tolerate others, right? Because just as much as people tolerate me, right? With social media and how fast our world works, right? We forget that, we need to be mindful of each other, and we need to care for the other person, right? The person, the Joe Schmo, right? I say Joe Schmo because I'm a Joe Schmo, right? And that's okay. I love being a Joe Schmo. I love being boring. I love the consistency of my life. I love that, I get to do what I do, and I do it, and it's not being praised by anybody else. I love that, right? And I just want to end with this, Katelyn. Your life may have ended, but I'm living my life for you, and you're living your life through me. And we got a lot to do. We got a lot of work to work on. We got a lot of things to do, but I'm excited, right? Keep that positive mentality. I encourage that to everybody. Keep that positive mentality, and hey, we got stuff to do. And look out for another video. I'm gonna be posting a lot more. I have time on my hands right now, right? I have got a lot of thoughts. I got to get them out, right? Because I know someone out there is gonna be able to help, right? And maybe it's a number of people, maybe it's one person. I just gotta have faith that what I'm doing is in alignment with God, and I truly feel that. That being said, I do plan on making a video based off of the book of Miyamoto Musashi. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. I do plan on explaining the Book of the Five Rings, right, and how we can use that in our life today, right? And most importantly, for the 9-to-5er and the common man, right? It talks about how the samurais don't just know how to wield their sword, right? They don't know how to. They're not just an expert in their craft, right? They understand everything around them, and we'll go a little bit more into that in another video, because I found it that I thought I would have an issue talking not that much. Now I have an issue talking too much, so I'm gonna have to start, working just as hard as I did at that job as I do here, and I'm excited for that. That being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of y'all's day, and I'll talk to y'all soon.